Hey,
Happy Monday, you guys.
everyone. My name is Janelle Villiers. That over there is Winston, and we're hosts of the Monday Rundown here on Say That channel. It's our favorite because Winston and I get to talk about all the things that we don't get to normally talk about on our Wednesday show, which is mainly focused on business. And we get to, get into other content creators, other thought leaders, and hear their ideas and thoughts about the topics and the questions that you guys have been bringing us. So keep bringing those questions to us. And we love it. We love getting into this side of things with you guys. So
today actually almost has a Wednesday vibe though, but here we go.
Yeah, that's fair.
I like how I'm sure what we're going to look at is going to hit it from a different angle, which I'm interested in.
Sure. So there we are. Why do we work so hard, right? And yeah, for sure, you're thinking business already. I see that question, I immediately think hustle culture. And I am against hustle culture. For those of you who know me and have seen me in my other, I literally just posted the other day, like why I'm against hustle culture. So why do we work so hard? I think part of it is cultural. We're feeding into this
machine
cultural idea that we need to work hard, stay up late, wake up early. What do you mean you get 7 hours of sleep? You're lazy. Like you need to be doing more. And
I think there's a baby boomer out there right now who's losing it.
Yeah, exactly. So I think there's if you're passionate about what you do, if you have found your calling or your purpose, it's gonna seem like you're working really hard, but that's because you're working towards your calling or your purpose in life. And so I think for those people, it may appear that way, but it doesn't probably feel that way to them. Like they probably don't feel like they're working so hard. So I would say maybe some people are working hard because they're so passionate about their calling and their life's purpose that from our point of view, we'd be like, oh my God, they're working so hard. Even though for them, they're like, well, this is like my thing. This is why I'm on the planet. So I'm going to work on this because this is, what I'm here for. I think that might be a reason why some people work so hard. The other people, I feel like they've fallen into some societal, cultural, normative thing that's happening that I don't think is the most healthy.
That's a good point. I agree. The thing that jumped out to me with the question is, or what you said, is the whole idea of cultural. And in my mind, I thought, depending on who you ask this question, how they interpret what hard work looks like. And I feel there was a time that working hard was a necessity. It was like born out of a necessity. This country alone, there was a period where just war and people's lives were literally. Actually, we talked about this a couple of weeks back with the Ray Dalio video on one of our Wednesday episodes of just world orders shifting. So I feel like there are periods in time where, given what people are having to go through, hard work is, rebuilding cities, just different social things going on, right? Hard work is definitely something that's going to be needed. In that, however, as we've grown as the world has shifted, I think what we consider hard work is going away. It's almost like dying off with the dinosaur. And I mean, like, we're looking at there even in the job industries, you're finding things changing and it's becoming easier. We're moving away from humans having to do a lot of the hard labor and hard work, and you're having machines do a lot of that stuff. So I think naturally we're going to move similar to, I think, where you were heading. You're going to move into spaces where, and this is a term I hope is coined by Janelle, your zone of genius. Thank you. All right. Your zone of genius. And I think people are going to find themselves in that, being able to spend more time in that space. And so I wonder if this whole idea of working hard is going to shift. And it may feel weird because I know I personally go through that. As an entrepreneur, it's like you're moving into an idea where you're not spending as much of your time busy working, you're spending a lot more time like getting yourself mentally prepared for the work you plan on doing. Like I want to be in a good headspace when I go over someone's work, or when we meet to do meetings for our business. Like I work, or maybe more of that, and that shift has felt a little different from what I'm accustomed to. I think I just way more just put hours in, but some of those hours were just miserably spent, just like going through stuff, and it really was more of a just I felt better about putting time on a clock as opposed to being effective in the time that I was using, or the time that I was doing in the work I was doing.
Mm.
So I think many people, and I attribute a lot of shift in this world to the recent shift to the pandemic. But I think a lot of people may have found themselves, again, when you were not in work in a traditional sense, having to find themselves doing other things outside of that space. So,
Yeah. All right. Well, it's not just me and Winston. We are headed over to see what some other thought leaders have to say about this. We are some fans of the School of
yes, we
Life,
are.
big
Yes,
fans.
we are.
And so we're going to hear what they have to say about the topic.
Take us to school.
We work as we do because, of course, we need to, because nothing is cheap, because the bills are incessant, because of all the good and wise and sensible reasons that we've been highly aware of since mid-adolescence at least. But that is too neat, and we know it deep down. We know that there is also, alongside this, something a bit more complicated that we use the idea of necessity to avoid. We work so hard because we are in terror of stillness, because being scared of the world offers the most respectable distraction from a dread of our own minds, because we have no idea how to let anyone know us outside of our achievements, because it seems inconceivable that we have any value beyond what we do, because we were schooled early on in the art of being terrified, and we are still too young to question our elders, because we use the noise from without to drown the murmurs from within, because we can't read poetry, for we despise anything that doesn't have a charted purpose or goal, and that therefore threatens to collide us with the unexpected, because we don't allow ourselves to be acquainted with the night, because if we started with the questions, we have no idea where we might have to go and what might need to be discarded, because we are in flight from untenable sadness and regret, because we haven't got too many or even any real friends, because few people ever just held us quietly, because we have no idea what to do with ourselves other than run, because we find peace so much harder than war, and because the real work might lie elsewhere.
That was like a poem.
True.
Very poetic.
It was poetic, and yeah, true. It's funny. I talk about this in my book. For those of you who don't know, I wrote a book. It's called "I Slept with a Married Man. Am I Still a Good Person?" Winston also wrote a book. It's called.
Oh, that's awesome. You have them both there. Wait, then.
But
I need to have that.
yeah, it's fun. What I talk about is I describe how sometimes I was working really, really hard to avoid some of the feelings and the emotions I had. In particular, in my book, I was talking about the emotion of feeling lonely and being lonely. And so like when you work to the midnight hour and I just like would crack asleep, like it allowed me to not have to focus on the fact that like I was actually feeling lonely and what that could mean to me or for me. So this actually struck a chord to me. This resonates a lot. That's one thing, but for someone else, it could be another thing that they're avoiding, right? Like maybe for some people, it's a sense of control, and like without it, then they're like, I don't know, like what else to do with my life if I'm not controlling something, or the peace.
Maybe feeling progress. There could be an area that you get progress in that area where you may not find that in whatever you're avoiding, to your point about avoiding something.
I love that. Yeah. Or the peace like it's harder to maintain peace than it is to maintain war. Like I mean, there's the large context for that, which is true. It takes much more effort to keep peace than it does to keep war. But internally, what that looks like too is that, how are we at peace in our minds mentally? A lot of times when anyone tries to meditate, they freak out because they're like, I just have like a bunch of thoughts in my head. Right? People are so scared of that. There was like, has anyone just held you in stillness? That question.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I went to a Quaker school where they believe that the light of God is within everyone. And so when they go to their meeting for worship, which is what they call church, no one preaches at you. There are no songs sung. You just sit in silence, because the idea is that, you let God talk to you. And God, God is talking individually to each person in that room. And I remember watching the kids who had never experienced meeting for worship for the first time and just sitting in a room in silence, and the awkwardness. You could just see all over they're like twidgeting. They like couldn't sit still. You could tell they were just really unnerved by this like moment of quiet and stillness. And it's, to me, it's an extension of the larger adult life that I feel like many people struggle with. So,
Facts.
So yeah, I thought that these were good questions.
No, I completely agree, and I like where they went with it. They definitely touched on a few different reasons why you may be. The initial one that they I can't articulate it as well as he did, but just what they mentioned, I feel like this sense of having to kind of get some marks up on a chart kind of energy feels very even as you grow up as an adult. I feel actually like your sense of worth, that's what it was. Like who are you without this thing you can kind of show to the world? Like, look at my medals, like look at my achievements. Thank you, that's what it was. Yeah, who are you? That's the, I feel most out of many of the things that were said, that was the one that resonated with me the most. This idea of who are we if, and I think, we've hit this in some other, Landmark, I remember kind of talked about this. There's a person I'm listening to now who kind of just paints this idea that we're characters. So, you really shouldn't get tied too much. And I've watched, we've heard people, talk about, I was and they talk about their profession, and it's the idea that that is who they are. And then when that is taken away from them, they've lost a sense of their identity. And it's like, but you were never your job, and I don't want to take it from anyone that is how they identify themselves. Just for some people, they can feel a sense of loss when that gets taken, if it's not something that you've created yourself. So this is actually a great question. It's on many levels that honestly, I'm happy that they took this conversation too.
Once again, School of Life. This is why we're fans. So if this is the first time you're watching us react to a School of Life video, now you know why.
Go back and watch some old episodes. You'll see why we love them.
Every time.
Check out one of the videos that we post right here in the middle afterwards. You guys will love.
Awesome. Well, this has been amazing. Please put your comments below if you got value from this. Please share. This is the big thing. Share it. It's so free to just share. We're not asking you for money. Just like, if you found this helpful, go ahead and share it. It really helps the algorithm. We want to say thank you to the 500 subscribers. We just hit 500 subscribers. That's it. And we know that's because people are finding value and sharing it with others. So please go ahead and do that. Hit subscribe as well. Until next week, as always, remember that you deserve the good life. Say that.
Say that. Be well, guys.